Kristian Hernandez here for Sports Video Group at the annual Sports OTT Forum. I have the distinct pleasure now to speak with Octagon's William Mao. William, how you doing, sir?
No, great. Thanks for having me.
Of course, thanks for coming. So we'll just jump right into it. You had a conversation with Brandon Costa on the main stage in the theater here about the sports OTT ecosystem. Obviously, it's always a rapidly changing ecosystem. It's kind of like broadcast linear television, but it's going at hyper speed rate. Tell us a little bit about where we are now and where do you think we're headed in the future?
Sure. I think right now, if I had to kind of encapsulate what I think is going on in the marketplace, I think there's a little bit of rebundling as kind of an overarching theme. So whether that is bundling different services together, like Disney Plus and ESPN Plus and Hulu into an offering, or even if you think about within a specific network, CBS All Access getting into sports, or NBC Sports Gold becoming more than just that and becoming a Peacock type entity, or BR talking about how BR Live, HBO Max, that whole, how all those pieces will fit together going forward. I think there's all different types of rebundling going on, and that's a reaction, I think, to the fact that sort of the a la carte building of a portfolio of services for a given consumer is getting pretty expensive relative even to the original bundles that we were talking about in the triple pay package of a decade ago.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So another topic that's on everyone else's mind here is kind of sports betting. And as legalized sports betting continues to get legalized in more states, how do you think it'll kind of change the landscape moving forward as well?
Yeah, I think one, it will just kind of create more bidders, let's call it, for the traditional live rights that used to just go to broadcasters in the traditional sense, right? We're already starting to see that with the NHL announcing a partnership with, I believe it's FanDuel, where you have select games that are going to be on the FanDuel service live as part of sort of a bet and watch type feature. One thing that I mentioned in my conversation with Brandon to keep in mind is that sort of the betting and data manifestation in the ecosystem has kind of already been very much part of the landscape in other parts of the world, like Europe, for example, and that's really allowed certain sports that traditionally may have not gotten commercial value relative to their standing from a prioritization perspective from traditional broadcasters to kind of punch above their weight class. Thinking about sports that are more transactional in nature, such as tennis and golf, now getting greater value because there's this data and betting component that's going to be coming to the fray in the US in the future.
Okay, now we sit in this same seat, probably not, who knows, next year, and we're thinking about the trends that are kind of coming in the Sports OTT Forum and the space then. What do you think is going to be on top of mind of everyone coming back here next year? Prediction time.
Very interesting. I think one of the things that I always try to kind of balance my expectations on is over the last, if we're being generous, decade, we've been talking about cord cutting, cord shaving, cord switching, whatever you want to call it, and that's eroding the pay TV household numbers in the US, speaking specifically, and where it's gone down from 90 down to closer to 70 to 80. That's taken over a decade or so of time. Now, obviously, the acceleration of that we're starting to see, but if we're talking about a year from now, we still have to keep in mind that the most aggregated audiences in a year's time are probably still going to be the pay TV ecosystem. And as a function of that, the financial value that, speaking from my perspective, advising rights holders that you have to keep in mind is that linear traditional, whether it's free to air or pay TV component, is still going to have to be a core component of your offering, not only from a commercial perspective, but because they still have the most aggregated reach. Because unless there's another step change in terms of the subscriber base of a service like ESPN Plus, or a Peacock, or a All Access, those numbers are still going to pale in comparison to the distribution that a TNT gets relative to a BR.
Sure. Okay. Well, obviously, as this ecosystem continues to change, things are going to go in any which direction. So, looking forward to see what happens, and we'll see where the future holds.
Me too. Let's wait and see.
Let's do it. So, William, thanks for coming to chat with us. Thanks for attending this year, and we look forward to speaking to you in the future.
Always a great time.
Thanks. We appreciate it. So for more from William Mao and Octagon, see what they're doing, and also other things, other conversations and articles and video interviews and the whole gamut here at the Sports OTT Forum, please head over to sportsvideo.org.